Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's virtual campus visit. We're going to let everyone get into our Zoom webinar right now as we prepare to start with today's virtual campus visit. So we're just going to keep welcoming everyone in. I hope everyone has had an amazing day from wherever you are visiting us from, or potentially amazing morning, depending on where you are visiting us from. And we are so glad that you have decided to take your time, an hour of your time, to join us today on today's virtual campus visit. Okay, we will get started and moving along. Perfect. So as we start with this, we want to ask a quick poll to get a sense of where everyone's coming from. And so we want to ask, what type of visitor are you? What type of visitor are you? And so the poll just launched. So everyone please fill that out and we will share the results with you in a few seconds, in a few minutes. As these answers are coming in, we're seeing a lot of high school students or family members. 93% of that vote is saying that. And we're going to share the results with everyone right now. And so as you can all see, we've got 6% admitted student or family member. Congratulations on getting in already. We've got one college student or family member, and then everyone else is a high school student or family member. So thank you all for joining us, and we will move along with a overview of how today's virtual campus visit is going to work. So today's virtual campus visit is a 45-minute presentation, and throughout the entire presentation, there is a Q&A feature at the bottom that you can ask your questions at any point. We have ambassadors on the back end that are ready to answer all of your questions that you may have throughout the tour. There will be a few more interactive polls for everyone to participate in and give us a better sense of you all as well. And then at the end of this, we're going to go over how to see more virtual visit recordings in case you want to see virtual visits led by other ambassadors to get different perspectives on all of the content. This is going to be a campus overview with student perspectives. So we've got two campus ambassadors who are going to be leading today's virtual campus visit. This is not an admissions or financial aid info session. Those are both separate sessions, and we'll talk about those at the end. So save those questions for those separate sessions. And then we're going to end with a live Q&A. So while we have the Q&A running the entire time, at the end, the last 15 minutes of this virtual campus visit are going to be a live Q&A. So make sure you keep putting your Q&A questions into the Q&A feature throughout the entire time, and we will save some of those for the live Q&A. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our amazing campus ambassadors to lead today's tour.
Alrighty, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. We're super excited to have you here today. My name is Ethan. My pronouns are he, him, and él. I'm originally from Spring Valley, California. If you're unsure where Spring Valley is, it is about 20 minutes east of downtown San Diego. I'm in my final year, actually my final semester here at UC Berkeley, which is really exciting. I'm going to be graduating with 2 degrees, one in ethnic studies and educational sciences, and I also have a minor in dance performance studies. Outside of my involvement as a campus ambassador, I'm involved in several different things on campus, including our Aspiring Educators Club, or ASAP Berkeley. I also work for our Department of Residential Life as a resident assistant. I'm also involved with another club on campus called Frontera at Berkeley, which researches border policies and immigration issues along the US-Mexico border. And I also work in the School of Education as well. That's just a little bit about me. I would love to get to know all of you throughout our virtual visit today, and I'm going to turn over to my wonderful co-guide, Essie, to kick us off.
Hello, everybody. My name is Essie. I use the she, her pronoun series. I'm originally from Santa Clarita, California, which is in SoCal, about 40 minutes north of Los Angeles. Or if you've ever been to Six Flags Magic Mountain, it's about 5 minutes away from my high school. I am a first year studying English with a potential minor in journalism. And outside of giving tours as a campus ambassador, I also write for the Daily Californian, which is Berkeley's student-run newspaper and the City of Berkeley's newspaper of record. I write for Diaspora Magazine, which is our Black culture and arts magazine on campus. And I also am newly a part of Phi Alpha Delta, which is a co-ed pre-law fraternity on campus. So, this is a little bit of the agenda that we'll be going over today. These are just very high overview topics that we'll be talking about in relation to Berkeley and all of the great things about it. We'll be talking about history and culture, academics, housing and dining, health and safety, student resources, student life, athletics, and libraries and research. And of course, all the questions that you may have in order to kind of get to know more about our amazing campus.
Thank you for that amazing overview essay. Essie, to kick us off, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of UC Berkeley. So, we are the first University of California campus founded in 1868. And after our founding in 1868, we moved into the official Berkeley area around 1873, with the first building of our campus being South Hall. If you look at the bottom left corner, that is South Hall. It is the only last brick building standing on campus and currently houses one of our graduate schools, which is the School of Information. You may hear SC and I refer to Berkeley and Cal and its many variety of its names. So we are officially, the full name of our university is the University of California, Berkeley. And in more academic settings, we are Berkeley, but to refer to our sports and a lot about student life, we are Cal or California for the California Golden Bears, which is represented by, if you look at the top left picture, Oski the bear. He's a magnificent creature. If you ever see him around campus, give him a hug. He's great. He also knows how to do the splits, which he does at every single basketball game. It is so much fun to watch. But Oski is our mascot, and we are represented as the California Golden Bears in all of our sports here at UC Berkeley because our mascot is paying homage to the brown bear of California, which is the state animal. A little bit about our student body size, though. We are a fairly large public university in the state with roughly 33,000 undergraduate students and 13,000 roughly graduate students, making a total of 46,000 students. A couple of other campus landmarks I'd like to point out for y'all as well include our Campanile or Sather Tower. If you see the kind of video that spirals all the way to the top of the Campanile, it's a really great view on campus. So if you ever have the opportunity to come to UC Berkeley in person, highly recommend going to the top of the Campanile and checking out the carillon, which is an instrument at the top of the Campanile that has 61 different bells in it. And at the bottom right is Sather Gate. I like to consider it kind of the main entrance of the campus. If you look at the photos that Essie and I have in our background, that's actually a picture of Sather Gate, meaning Sproul Plaza and Dwinell Plaza. And I consider it the academic entrance to the campus. And you may have seen it in a very fun Disney Pixar movie known as Monsters University, the same gate that Mike Wazowski walks through.
Okay, so a little bit about our campus culture. We love to consider ourselves at UC Berkeley a group of change makers. There's obviously a very popular reputation for UC Berkeley students to be very passionate about activism and free speech, which is actually started because of the free speech movement that happened here on campus starting in October of 1964, that actually ended in January of 1965, started by students Mario Savio and Art Goldberg. Ever since then, UC Berkeley students have been known to voice the concerns that they have about whatever's going on in the country or maybe on campus, and have used their voices to really enact change. As you can see on the top right and top left pictures, students, using their freedom of speech to let the people on campus know how they feel about what's going on in the world. Personally, I love the culture of UC Berkeley that allows students to be so passionate about what they believe in, whether it has to do with their culture, identity, or personal interests outside of class. And as somebody who's definitely excited to go into social justice in the future, I really enjoy that part of UC Berkeley. We're also super passionate about entrepreneurship and research and innovation. We actually recently got the title of the college that has the most startups out of undergraduate programs in the country. So UC Berkeley students are great about any amazing idea that they have and putting it into fruition throughout their hard work on campus, which is another great reputation that we have. We also have great community, school spirit, and pride on campus. Everybody loves to rep their Berkeley blue and gold all the time, even when it's not necessarily, a big game day or anything like that. We have tons of campus traditions, including the big game against Stanford every year, which is a very fun rivalry that I personally love to participate in. And we're a very welcoming and diverse campus. I know as a woman of color who grew up in an area that did not have a lot of people who looked like me, it was very important to me to choose a campus that felt welcoming. for people who looked like me and also had shared experiences. And I definitely felt as though Berkeley has given me opportunities to find people who have related experiences to what I've experienced throughout growing up. And we're also a very collaborative campus, obviously giving lots of opportunities to collaborate, whether it's in or outside of the classroom for any students that are interested.
I ditto a lot of what Essie said about our campus culture. It's absolutely amazing. I'm also a student of color that grew up in an area where there weren't a lot of people of color around me. And Berkeley definitely gave me a lot of opportunities to see just meeting people of my identities as well. So ditto everything that Essie said. As we kind of transition now into our academics, we loved for you to answer this quick poll that's going to pop up on your screens right now. What are you interested in studying? This can be like engineering, maybe chemistry, the biological sciences, environmental sciences. Maybe you're in the social sciences like me, or the arts and humanities like Essie. Maybe you're into physical sciences, architecture, business. We'll keep that poll up for another kind of like 10-ish seconds. We have a lot of response rate full. Thank you so much for answering our polls. And seems like it's dying down, so we're going to go ahead and end it right now and share the results. So it looks like a lot of you all are widespread, looks like a lot of engineering, a lot of biological sciences, but we do have a pretty wide spread of folks here today. So we're really excited to share all the amazing offerings that UC Berkeley has in terms of its academics. So going forward, to give a quick overview of the 6 undergraduate colleges that we have here at Berkeley. So any major that you apply to here at UC Berkeley will fall under one of these 6 undergraduate colleges with the exception of 2, which we'll talk about at the end. But to go over our 6 undergraduate colleges are the College of Letters and Science, the Rouser College of Natural Resources, the College of Environmental Design, Chemistry, Engineering, and our newest college, the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. In addition, to the 6 undergraduate colleges, we have 2 graduate schools that offer their own undergraduate programs, which is the Haas School of Business and our School of Education, as I'm actually a student in the School of Education with the Educational Sciences major. So now we're going to go through and talk a little bit more about each of our undergraduate colleges.
We'll begin with the College of Letters and Science, which is my personal favorite as my major is housed in the College of Letters and Science. It is our largest undergraduate college, with about 75% of our undergraduate students having their majors in this college and over 50% of our faculty in this college as well. There are over 65 majors, including, as you can see on the screen, economics, MCB or molecular and cellular biology, political science, sociology, legal studies, English, film and media studies, all those kinds of things. The College of Letters and Science also has 5 high demand majors, which include analytics, art practice, social welfare, public health, and political economy. They're still super accessible, but they are high demand, which makes it a little bit harder to get into. But if you're interested in applying to those majors, if you apply as those majors in specific and get admitted to UC Berkeley, you will automatically have a spot in those programs. There's also a 7 breadth requirement for students in the College of Letters and Science, which basically means that throughout your years in this college, you are also required to take classes outside of whatever your field of interest is. So as an English major, I'm also required to take a biological science class, a mathematical and physical science class, a philosophy and values class, just to make sure that students are kind of getting a wide breadth of knowledge, hence the name, and also explore things that are out of their comfort zone. I know that as somebody who's always said that I'm not a fan of math, but I had to take a math last semester, I actually realized that I was a lot better at it than I thought I was. So I definitely love the fact that Letters and Science really gives you the opportunity to kind of explore things outside of what you're maybe interested in.
All right, and moving on from our College of Letters and Science is our Rouser College of Natural Resources. This is one of our founding colleges here at UC Berkeley. First, it was primarily based in more agriculture-based studies, but now it's more environmental science oriented. There are 9 majors in this college, including molecular environmental biology, society and environment, environmental economics and policy, conservation resource studies, and genetics and plant biology, just to name a few. What's really, really cool about this college is that it has a hands-on approach to the environmental sciences. As you can see on the top right, the top left picture and the top right picture are some opportunities for students to get involved with environmentalism here on our campus. The top left picture is actually of the restoration efforts for the Strawberry Creek. So our campus has two naturally flowing creeks, one on the south side of campus and one on the north side of campus. Those are called Strawberry Creek, and students like to get involved with helping restore the creek and making sure that it's maintained for generations to come explore on the campus. This college also has some of the most unique research opportunities as well, ranging from plant biology research all the way to Li Ka-shing, which also includes a brain mapping institute inside of it. So if you're interested in the environmental sciences, this is the place for you.
Next, we have our smallest undergraduate college, which is the College of Environmental Design. There are approximately 650 students in this college with only 4 majors, including architecture, landscape architecture, urban studies, and sustainable environmental design. As you can see in the bottom right corner, this is Bow Worcester Hall, which is where the College of Environmental Design is housed. It was designed in a brutalistic architecture style to inspire the students to not draw inspiration from the building, but actually what's going on inside of it. And also one of my favorite facts of this program, the architecture program that's housed within the College of Environmental Design, is that John Galen Howard, who was also the designer of a lot of UC Berkeley's most famous campus landmarks, including Sather Tower and Sather Gate, founded the architecture department in 1903 with a class that was 50% female at a time that most other universities were not admitting female students into their architecture department.
And moving on from our College of Environmental Design is our College of Chemistry. The College of Chemistry is also one of our smaller undergraduate colleges with roughly 1,000 students in it, and only 3 majors, which are chemistry, chemical engineering, and chemical biology. Note that the College of Chemistry, the College of Engineering, which we'll cover in a minute, and the College of Computing Data Science and Society, which we will also cover in a minute, require students to apply directly on the UC application as the major that they choose. So for example, if you want to apply as a chemistry major, put chemistry on your UC application for UC Berkeley, and if you're admitted to UC Berkeley, you'll be admitted as a chemistry student. Also, kindly note that chemical engineering is not in the College of Engineering. Rather, it is in our College of Chemistry since we have our own College of Chemistry. What's also really cool about the College of Chemistry, not only were 16 elements on the periodic table discovered by several UC Berkeley faculty, including berkelium and californium, just to name a few of them, but Professor Gilbert Lewis, who is a professor of chemistry here at UC Berkeley, taught our Chemistry 1A course, which is Introduction to Chemistry. If you ever took chemistry in high school and had to draw Lewis dot structures, that is actually where they were coined, as Gilbert Lewis used them to teach chemistry to his students in Chemistry 1A. So you get to walk on the foreground of where Lewis dot structures, 16 elements, and so many other things were discovered here at Berkeley.
Next up is one of our most popular colleges, which is the College of Engineering. It's another one of our founding colleges on UC Berkeley's campus and super popular for all the amazing programs that it has. We have about 11 majors within the College of Engineering, including Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, or EECS, Mech-E, or Mechanical Engineering, Bioengineering, Civil Engineering, just to name a few. The College of Engineering is super popular for its prestige, as it's constantly ranked in the top 10 of engineering programs in the country, and also for some of our famous alumni who have graduated from the College of Engineering, including Steve Wozniak, who is the co-founder of Apple. The College of Engineering, again, is one of those undergraduate colleges that students are required to apply to directly. If students are not exactly sure what kind of engineering they want to pursue, there's also the opportunity to apply as an undeclared engineering major and then be able to switch into the program of your choice later on once you've kind of figured out what your niche is.
And to kind of wrap up our undergraduate colleges, we have our newest undergraduate college, number 50 years at the university, which is the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. So there are 3 majors in this college only: computer science, data science, and statistics. Previously, all of these majors were housed in the College of Letters and Science, but due to the high demand for these majors within the job markets, but also within our student population, they have become its own separate undergraduate college. Roughly 1,500 students actually graduated with a degree in these majors in spring of 2023. And this college, as I kind of went over earlier, is our newest college. So it would be housed in the Gateway building. If you look at the top right picture, that is a mock-up of the Gateway building, which is set to be fully constructed by either fall of 2025 or 2026. And if you look at the bottom, the bottom right picture, you'll actually see our Data 8 lecture, which is in Wheeler Hall, our largest lecture hall on campus. That sits roughly up to 700 students. Data 8 is our introductory data science course. It's a very popular course amongst students, regardless of major here on campus.
Okay, so to talk a little bit more about our Haas School of Business and the undergraduate programs it offers, here are some of the ways that you can get into the Haas School of Business. For high school seniors that are applying as first years to UC Berkeley, there's the Speaker Undergraduate Business Program, which was recently created for students to apply directly into Haas and pursue business administration for all 4 years at UC Berkeley. And then there's also the Global Management Program, or GMP. This allows students to pursue global business with a business administration degree. It used to have students studying for a semester abroad in London, but now it'll actually be a sophomore fall in Ghana, which is super fun for me because I'm originally from Ghana. The school that students who do GMP study at in Accra, Ghana is actually called Ashesi University, and it was founded by a Haas Business School graduate. It's also the first private liberal arts university in West Africa, and it's super, super cool and in a great part of the country. So if students are interested in doing business and also, going and traveling somewhere outside of their comfort zone, I would really recommend it. And then finally, for high school seniors, there's also the MET program, or Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology, which allows students to pursue a dual degree in business administration and engineering. For continuing students, there's the 2-year business major program. There's also LSBE, which pursues business administration and life sciences, or biology. And then there's MET for students who are currently in engineering. And finally, for transfer students coming into Haas, there's also the 2-year business major program. A fun fact about Haas Business School is that it's actually the second oldest business school in the country after the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. And it's a super beautiful part of campus. As you can see on this picture in the left, it's so gorgeous. I love walking through the stairs here and studying in the Haas library, even if I'm not a Haas student. So I definitely recommend checking it out if ever on campus.
And moreover, from the Haas School of Business, we have 8 other amazing graduate schools here on campus, including the Haas School of Business, for a total of 9. So we have the Haas School of Business, our School of Education, Information, Berkeley Law, our School of Social Welfare, our Herbert Wortham School of Optometry and Vision Science, Journalism, Public Health, and Public Policy. The aforementioned undergraduate colleges also offer graduate degrees, whether that be a master's or a PhD program. Essie and I both kind of talked about earlier how we both had wanted have either majors or minors actually in graduate school. Says Essie has a potential minor in journalism, and our J school is actually the School of Journalism actually sponsors a minor for students to partake. Similarly, someone on our back end team is a public health major, and that major is actually technically in our School of Public Health as well, with oversight from the College of Arts and Science. And my degree, education, the educational sciences major, is directly in our School of Education here at UC Berkeley. To point out a couple of our schools here on campus, the Herbert Wortham School of Optometry and Vision Science is on your top left of your screen. On the bottom left is actually our School of Education in a building called Berkeley Way West, which also houses the School of Public Health. Moreover, we have on the bottom right Berkeley South Hall, which houses the School of Information, and Berkeley Law on the top right.
Okay, now we'll be talking about housing and dining, which is, of course, a super important part of going to UC Berkeley. About 96% of our first year students live in university residence halls, including myself. I currently live in Unit 1. Within these buildings, you can have a double room, a triple room, or a suite. I currently live in a suite in Unit 1, which basically means I have 2 roommates and then 2 people living in the room adjacent to us, and we share 1 bathroom. If you're not living in a suite, these rooms typically share communal bathrooms with the entire floor that are typically co-ed, but there's also a single gender option for a lot of the buildings. Some of the undergraduate residence halls include Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Clark Kerr, Foothill, Stern, which is within Foothill and is all female identifying students, and Blackwell Hall, which is the newest residence hall on campus and actually named after David Blackwell, who was the first Black professor to gain tenure at UC Berkeley. We also have a super cool thing at UC Berkeley called theme programs. I currently live on the Afro floor, which is an identity community group for students who identify as Black on UC Berkeley. So the top 3 floors of my building are all Black identifying students. Theme programs also offer opportunities for Asian American students, students who identify as LGBTQIA plus, or all female identifying students, or Chicanx Latinx students as well, just to name a few. These can be joined as a part of the housing application, which is available to all students who commit to UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley guarantees a housing offer for all first years who use the application, as long as you select any room size, any location as your last option on your 5 preferences for housing when you apply for housing at UC Berkeley. Then you will be given the opportunity to live somewhere on campus. For people who live on campus during your first year, automatically a meal plan is included in living in these dorms, which includes flex dollars and meal swipes. Flex dollars can be used at on-campus convenience stores, on-campus restaurants, or on Grubhub to order food off campus. And also meal swipes are a set amount given to you at the beginning of the week that can be used at any of the dining halls on campus, including Clark Kerr, Cafe 3, Crossroads, and Foothill. I know that I actually thought that I could only eat at the dining hall that was near my dorm, but you can eat at any of the dining halls on campus. For transfers and continuing students, there's also plenty of options to live in. Helen Diller Anchor House is a beautiful off-campus building for transfer students that I know Ethan is a senior resident assistant at, and it's so gorgeous in there. There's also plenty of off-campus apartments for Berkeley students that I actually just applied to a few with my roommates, including Martinez Commons, Panoramic, and the Enclave, just to name a few. There's also lots of rental options on a website specifically made for Berkeley students if they're interested in checking out off-campus apartments that are not necessarily owned by UC Berkeley. And there's also Greek housing for students that are a part of Greek life, which is about 12% of the undergraduate population. So if you have any questions about those options, you can check out the website that is at the top right of your screen.
That was such an amazing overview on housing, Essie, especially because like working in the residential life side of it, it is a lot of fun to live in on-campus housing. So I highly recommend it to anybody that is like interested in like just finding a really great community on campus, from our theme programs to all the way in our transfer student housing as well. So highly recommend living on campus your first year. I did, and I've lived on campus my entire time at Cal for that reason. So it's a lot of fun. But trying to transitioning our conversation into health and safety, we want you to answer this quick poll that's going to pop up on your screen. Where are you joining us from? Are you coming from NorCal, Central Cal? Are you coming from SoCal like Essie and I? Coming straight up to the Bay Area? Anybody from maybe a different time zone? Maybe you're from Alaska or Hawaii. Maybe you're in the mountain time zone, Central. Maybe on the East Coast. Or are you joining us internationally from around the world? We'll keep this open for another maybe 5 seconds. We love the participation on this poll, folks. So thanks so much for being interactive with us. We've really enjoyed getting to know you all throughout. And we're going to go ahead and close it, as we see majority of y'all are from, looks like pretty well spread as well, but a majority of y'all actually joining us from the East Coast, which is really fun to see. But we have a lot of NorCal, some Central, some Southern, some other states in the Pacific time zone, but we have a pretty widespread all throughout. So it's great to see where everybody is coming from. But regardless of where you're coming from, you will be safe here at UC Berkeley as we prioritize our students' physical and mental health well-being all throughout your 4 years here, or however long you're here at UC Berkeley. So first, regarding physical health here on campus, physical and mental health, we have our student health insurance plan, or SHIP for short. Here at UC Berkeley is actually a university requirement that all students be under health insurance, whether that is university provided insurance, or if you have your own form of insurance, you can actually fill out a waiver and you will not have university insurance. Instead, you will have your own. Regardless, you'll have access to the UC Berkeley Tang Center, which is located down the street from the main campus on Bancroft Way, which has urgent care, primary care, fully functioning lab and pharmacy. Also has referrals to outside medical practitioners if need be as well. In addition, we also have health coaching and nutritional counseling as well, available to all students. Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS for short, is a resource available to all students as well that provides same-day drop-in counseling for all students. So students sometimes, being a UC Berkeley student can be really hard. It can be really challenging. And so sometimes we may need to talk to somebody to just make sure that we're feeling our best and that we want to be able to continue our studies. And regardless of that, we have amazing counselors available to all of our students here on campus that really do take pride in making sure that every student feels safe, welcome, and included here on campus. Path to Care, PATH stands for Prevention, Advocacy, Training, and Healing, is a confidential resource here on campus available to students who may have experienced intimate partner violence or sexual violence of the like. And if you have experienced this, there is a resource available on campus available to you for free. And you can connect with a confidential advocate to connect with the further resources as well. In addition to the health services available on campus, we also have an optometry eye center that's partially sponsored by the UC Berkeley Herbert Wortham School of Optometry and Vision Science. And the Optometry Eye Center also provides low-cost eye exams, eyewear, and contact lenses available to students. And we have also a really great student life and culture where there's just so many great stress relief activities. Like I'm a trainer for visitor services. I'm a part of our leadership team, and one of my cohort members, she's actually part of Pause for Mental Health here on campus. And Pause for Mental Health actually brings dogs onto campus for students to pet. So if you are a dog lover like myself, you can definitely find some great dogs to pet all over campus. My favorite, his name is Trooper. He's like this big white fluffy dog. You will probably see him all around campus all the time. Also follow him on Instagram. He is very popular. And another one as well is Llama Palooza. That's actually put on by ASUC, or the Associated Students of the University of California. And that is our student government here at Berkeley. And they put on Llama Palooza every single semester where they bring llamas onto Memorial Glade for students to pet. Yes, you heard right. Live llamas on Memorial Glade. It is absolutely fun. If you look at the top right picture, actually, that is actually somebody taking a selfie with the llamas because they love to take selfies. You can feed them carrots too if you'd like. It's so much fun.
So to talk a little bit more about the safety aspect of UC Berkeley, we have the University of California Police Department, or the UCPD, which actually has their headquarters underneath Sproul Hall, which is in Sproul Plaza, a main portion of campus. They're always available 24/7 for any emergency situations that happen on or around campus. We also have the blue light pole system. There are about 100 blue light poles all across campus. And if you stand at any point on campus, you should be able to see one in the distance from wherever you're standing. These are accessible to students at any time. If you press a button on the blue light poles, it'll automatically connect you to UCPD, which will come to your location if you're ever in danger. We also have the Warn Me system. Warn Me is an email program that automatically emails students if there's a hazardous or dangerous situation on campus. This can range from mudslides that happen in Strawberry Creek when it's been raining a lot, to maybe a chemical spill in one of the chemistry classrooms during a lab. It basically tells you if an area is not good to be around, and then it'll also email you again when the area is all clear. Parents are also able to opt in to Warn Me emails. I know people have told me that their parents texted them about something before they even knew about it. So if you are curious about whatever's going on your child's campus, that's definitely an option for parents. We also have Safe Walk, which is an opportunity for UC Berkeley students to be walked from places on campus late at night if they feel like they could use a little bit more of comfort when they're walking somewhere. So maybe if you're studying super late at night, I know Moffitt was a 24-hour library that we had on campus, and maybe you were staying there overnight to cram for a final, but you didn't want to walk back to your dorm alone. Students can use the Safe Walk app to get a UC Berkeley trained student that will walk back with them to their dorm or their friend's dorm or whatever they feel is their next destination. And if it's too far of a walk, we also have the night safety shuttles. During the day, these are Bear Transit shuttles. And then after the sun has set, these change to night safety shuttles, which essentially do the same thing as Safe Walk. You can use an app to get these night safety shuttles to pick you up from different stops on and around campus. And they'll also take you to very important locations such as the BART stop in downtown Berkeley, or Clark Kerr campus, which is a little bit farther from campus. And after a certain amount of time, they will also do door-to-door service until about 5 in the morning. And both of these programs are available all year for students who feel they need the extra safety.
As you mentioned earlier, how some of her friends had parents that would text them about things that happen on campus through Warn Me. So that actually happened to me as well, because my mother alerted me to a fire in my kitchen dorm. and I was not there. I was in class, and I was like, Mom, I'm in class. I'm okay. But anyways, going into student resources here on campus, in addition to all the amazing safety resources that Essie went over and all of our health resources, we have a lot of resources for building identity and a great sense of community here at Cal. Our Centers for Educational Justice and Community Engagement, or EJCE, are our centers here on campus that uplift students of color, LGBTQIA plus identifying students, and also a wide variety of student populations as well. One of the centers within this umbrella includes our Gender Equity or Gen X Center, which uplifts women identifying and LGBTQIA plus identifying students as well through programming and various events that they have all throughout the semester or through the year. One of those events is Cutie Pie, which is a welcome event for new and returning queer and trans identifying students here on campus. As a queer student myself, I really struggled with finding community here. I thought I would really struggle with finding community here on campus, but I went to the first Cutie Pie event like my first semester here in fall 2021 and met some of my most closest friends that I still have to this day. Moreover, we also have our associated students of the University of California, or ASUC, which I talked about earlier. The ASUC encompasses 20 different senators and 5 executives that represent the undergraduate student population here at UC Berkeley. So if you're really interested in like law, policy, or like advocacy work, this is a place for you as well. My first years here at Cal, I was involved with the Office of Academic Affairs here at UC Berkeley through the ASUC, and that was so much fun because I got to help advocate for academic policy changes here on campus, and I really loved my experience with that. We also have a transfer student center here on campus. So for transfer students, we have a center dedicated here for you on campus, and they provide holistic and academic counseling services and also provide a wide variety of different other events. Within our ASUC, we also have a transfer student representative that represents all the transfer students within our student population here at Berkeley. And moreover, for undocumented students, we are a safe haven university, a sanctuary university for undocumented students, and our undocumented students program works tirelessly to ensure there are financial resources and other resources available to undocumented students here on this campus. For support and equity, a couple of our resources include for students that may require academic accommodations here on campus. We have our DSP program, or Disabled Students Program. So if you require an academic accommodation for the semester, you can meet with our DSP specialist and they will work with you to ensure that you are set up for success with all of your classes and get the accommodations that you need. For students that may be facing housing or food insecurities, our Basic Needs Center is an amazing service here on campus that helps students with getting into public benefits such as CalFresh and EBT, housing support through our Berkeley Student Cooperative System, and you name it. There are so many more resources here on this campus that I can go eons about, and I know Essie can go eons about, but those are just a few to name about that really do show that there are resources here on this campus available to all students, regardless of their identities and backgrounds, here to uplift and support them as well.
A little bit more about student life. We have over 1,000 registered student organizations and clubs on campus, which include things like the ASUC, the student government on campus, the Daily Cal, which I'm involved in. There's lots of cultural groups like a Black Student Union, if people are interested in that. There are lots of dance teams, pre-professional organizations, students groups that are related to personal interests in career fields. Anything that you can think of that's a niche interest that you may have, I'm sure there are other people on campus that share it. And I definitely think that joining at least one club in your first semester at UC Berkeley is a great way to kind of get immersed in the culture of the university and also find new friends. There's also plenty of volunteering opportunities for students on campus through a lot of these clubs as well. I know that I have a friend that's in one of these volunteering clubs, and she actually gets to go teach students at the local Berkeley schools, in the high schools, the middle school, and one of the elementary schools, which is a great opportunity. There's also lots of opportunities for campus employment. We have the Berkeley Career Engagement Center, which actually offers free headshots to students as well. We definitely encourage students to take a hold of their future and get opportunities to kind of explore what they're interested in. But if you also don't necessarily want to explore jobs that are in a future field, there are plenty of on-campus job opportunities, including this amazing campus ambassador job, but also working in the dining halls or the libraries that are available to all students, and especially students that are eligible for work study. We also have lots of internship opportunities. The Bay Area is super popular for all the amazing companies that are available to students, especially those who are interested in STEM in San Francisco and Silicon Valley. website, as you can see. We actually have Handshake, which is a software that allows students to partner with different people in careers that are looking for students to work for them. And there are lots of different career fairs that are happening all the time. There's actually one just yesterday for Black students on campus called Afro Ambitions that pairs people with alumni who are maybe looking for interns in the future or over the summer. There's also plenty of study abroad programs available to students both over the summer and during the year, which are not just limited to degree programs like GMP, but just in general internship programs. I know that one of my roommates is actually going to be studying in London over the summer and doing an internship there, which is very exciting. And there's also lots of financial aid opportunities for these study abroad programs too, if that is something that you think may hinder your opportunity to travel and study at the same time. There's definitely lots of opportunities to explore that. And there's also just great opportunities to explore the Bay Area. I know that as somebody from LA, public transportation is something that's very unfamiliar to me, but we have great access to free Clipper cards to be used on buses within Oakland and Berkeley. And you can also add money to your Clipper card to take BART all around the Bay Area. I know that I actually have taken the BART to San Francisco multiple times, both by myself and with my roommates, to go shopping in Union Square. So that is super fun and something I definitely recommend.
Moreover, in regards to athletics here at UC Berkeley, to kind of give a quick overview, there are several different levels of competition within the university. The main one is our ACC level or the Division One level. The ACC is the Atlantic Coast Conference. So if you're a college football fan, we were previously a part of the Pac-12. The Pac-12 became the Pac-2, and now we are in the ACC. There are also club and intramural sports. So if you currently play a sport right now but want to continue playing a sport at UC Berkeley, you can play at the club or intramural sport. I know somebody that plays club rugby for women for our women's team here, which is super cool. All of our football games happen at California Memorial Stadium, whereas basketball games and other games also happen at Haas Pavilion. And if you love to work out, we have our recreational sports facility, or RSF, that provides a free gym here on campus for all of our students. So if you really like to work out, maybe take a fun yoga class once in a while, the RSF has got you covered. Our Department of Recreational Wellbeing, or RecWell, also sponsors the PE department here on campus. So if you want to take a PE class maybe during your day to kind of just chillax, get a good workout in, you definitely can do so. And also, a really cool fun fact, UC Berkeley has brought home 246 um, bronze, gold, and silver Olympic medals. So we have brought home Olympic medals overall. And they say that if you were to rank, if UC Berkeley were a country, I believe it would rank third overall in how many Olympic medals that it's brought home.
So a little bit more about our libraries and research programs. We have over 20 on-campus libraries that hold over 14 million volumes of literature. My personal favorite library is in that top left corner, which is Doe Library. It was designed by John Galen Howard and has multiple libraries within it, including Morrison Library, which is a reading-only library. Our libraries on campus are great opportunities for students to study and also work on group projects depending on the library. We also have multiple research opportunities available to students, but our most popular one is the Undergraduate Research Apprenticeship Program, or the URAP program. This is an application that is available to all undergraduate students to apply to work with faculty in the field that they are most interested in. I know that I've always thought of research opportunities to only be available to STEM students, but even as an English major, I know that I have a friend who's studying African American studies, and she's currently translating old documents that were written in different languages that have to do, with the history and culture of African American people. So I definitely think I encourage students to explore research opportunities on campus, even if they don't necessarily feel like they might align with what you plan on pursuing in the future.
As you kind of mentioned this earlier, but we have a ton of famous alumni and professors that have gone through UC Berkeley's doors. Jennifer Doudna actually calls straight to my attention as she won the 2020 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her use of CRISPR technology. If you are also a big, like, a children author or children books fan like myself, Beverly Cleary, she graduated from UC Berkeley in 1938. She was my childhood growing up. I read Ramona Quimby a lot. As he mentioned earlier, Steve Wozniak as well, the co-founder of Apple, went to UC Berkeley. Janesha Adams Ginyard also went to UC Berkeley, graduated in 2005 as an actress and stuntwoman, and played Dora Malahi in Black Panther. That's just to name a few of the amazing people that you see on the screen, but we have so many alumni that have gone on to really use their UC Berkeley education to be the true change maker that they've always sought out to be.
Some of our amazing things about our campus is the beautiful nature that surrounds it. I'm definitely a city person, and if I'm not outside, In a city, I actually prefer to be indoors, but Berkeley has really opened me up to enjoying nature and just being immersed in the beautiful like flora and fauna of our campus. As you can see, our UC Berkeley squirrels are very, very friendly with the people on campus, and there are such beautiful sights from a variety of different places on campus. Sunsets here in Berkeley are absolutely gorgeous. And in general, this is just a campus that very much values nature and the environment. We actually plan to be banning single-use plastics on campus by 2030. I actually realized that I haven't used a plastic water bottle in Berkeley since I've moved here, and I definitely think it's definitely made me appreciate the world that I live in and definitely be more wise about how I'm adding to the world around me and making sure that I'm keeping my planet safe.
Perfect. So thank you to Ethan and Essie for such an amazing virtual campus visit. This is now our time to go over the live Q&A. So make sure you all put some questions in the Q&A and we'll start answering them live. And we'll also unshare the slideshow for this portion. So the first question that I see in the Q&A, this one's kind of a fun one, is how's the weather? What do y'all think of the weather?
Um, great question. I think the weather can be really great. I'm from the dry part of San Diego originally. So it is a lot not dry up here, which I have to get used to. And I really like how in the summer it gets like really sunny. For being campus master, I had to work here over a summer and it was super sunny and it was just super breezy all the time. It never really got super hot, which I kind of really liked, but I also really missed about being back home because it got really hot back home. But I loved how it was is usually really breezy, really sunny here. It never really rains, but recently we've actually been having a lot of rains. So yeah, I would say like the weather's really nice up here. Essie, you want to add anything?
I also am from a very, very dry area of SoCal. It's definitely desert. So it's taken a little bit of getting used to that it's a little bit more breezy up here. But I personally love it. I've gotten really accustomed to the cooler air up here in the Bay Area. But I will say, if you come from somewhere warm, there's a quote by Mark Twain that the coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. So definitely invest in an umbrella and maybe one or two puffer jackets and maybe even some boots because I know a lot of my SoCal friends have been a little bit out of their comfort zone with the rain recently, but I definitely think once you get used to it, it's very, very beautiful.
I wholeheartedly agree with what y'all say, especially coming from SoCal. It's nice to have a little bit more of a season up in Berkeley. So as we wait for more questions to come up in the Q&A, so don't hesitate to put those in the Q&A. One question that I have that I really like asking on these virtual campus visits is what is your favorite thing about Berkeley in any aspect? I'll give you
I
some time to
can
think.
I think I have a lot of answers for this one, but I think the thing that stands out to me most is that Berkeley has like such a wide variety of people on campus that like it's very, very hard to feel like you haven't found your people. Even if it takes a little bit, like the amount of people that I found that are also English majors or are also Black students who came from an area that there weren't a lot of Black people, or also second generation like African students who have immigrant parents, or like there's just so many opportunities to find people of shared interests that a lot of times I think especially at the age like going into college you always feel like you're the weird one like out of the ordinary that you're doing something wrong that's not making you fit in. I really appreciate the fact that Berkeley like loves to encourage students to be that out of the ordinary person but also gives you the opportunity to find community with other people who also feel like they're a little bit different from everybody else. I've really enjoyed all of the different spaces that I found myself in just my first semester here on campus going into my second semester, and I definitely think it can be home for anybody who gives it the opportunity to be.
Ooh, this is a really great question. There's a lot of things I also really love about Berkeley. Um, Kind of reflecting on like my 4 years here, I would definitely have to say like the diversity of the campus is one of my favorite things because like I like coming in, I was like very like set on what I really wanted to do, but like I think the exposure to like seeing what everybody else was doing and like seeing how many people were so passionate about so many different things actually like really helped me with getting more comfortable with like deciding something else that I was really passionate about doing. So I came in actually pre-law. I really wanted to do that. And then I realized like with meeting a lot of folks on campus and like seeing what else I could do with like what I wanted, what I kind of was aiming for, that really, I don't think the law track really was for me, but I know it is for a lot of people. And now I'm actually on the education track, and I'll be hopefully getting my master's in the fall, which is really exciting. But the UC Berkeley community really helped me with getting more comfortable with like seeing a lot of different possibilities for myself. So I would definitely say like the diversity here on campus, it's just the people you meet, will really set the tone for like the time that you have here, because you get to meet like so many different people here, and they really do help you challenge a lot of the things that you grew up with like knowing, but also like get to be really creative and like just express yourself to the fullest.
Yeah, I think those are both amazing answers for that question. It's always nice to see what everyone loves about Berkeley. So, one question that I see in the chat from Caleb is how easy is it to get housing after freshman year? So, could y'all talk a little bit about housing after freshman year, whether it's on campus or off campus, and how that experience was for you?
Yeah, so for me, as SC mentioned earlier, I am a senior resident assistant this year. That's my job within working in residential life. So for me, how I got housing after my first year at Cal was actually becoming a resident assistant or an RA. And so becoming an RA, it is a process. You have to go through an interview. It's like a job application basically. And if you're hired, you get free room and board. So you get not only a free room in one of the residential halls, but you also get a meal plan included as your compensation. In exchange, you'll work as an RA, and it's been a lot of fun getting to build really great community with folks. For 2 years, I actually worked in David Blackwell Hall, which is our newest first year and continuing student dorm, and working in that setting was really nice. And now I work as a senior resident assistant in our Helen Diller Inker House, which is also a lot of fun. And working with transfer students has been really, really fun to just see how really the diversity of the campus is just blooming all over the place. And I guess that was for me my own experience getting housing. A lot of my friends though work not either work as resident assistants, but a lot of them also live off campus in the Berkeley student co-op system. A lot of them decided to live in the co-ops, and the co-ops are kind of similar to the dorms in the community aspect. A lot of them have gotten a really great community in exchange for like a reduced rent. They'll do like chores around like the house, or they'll do like work in the central office. So I would say a lot of my friends have done that as well, and they've really enjoyed the co-ops. Or some of them live off campus in just regular apartments. Some of them actually commute too. So if you want to live in a city outside of Berkeley, like live in Oakland, live in Amarillo, live in San Francisco, I have a couple of friends that brought their cars up and they commute to campus. They drive really easily. So I would say wide variety of options as well.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Like, as someone who's lived off campus every year after freshman year, I've found it pretty easy to find an apartment, and I found my current one in a Facebook group, which is a pretty fun thing. A next question that I think is a good one is, are schedules often flexible or are they pretty set? And how have you managed that through your time as a Berkeley student? SC, if you want to start with this one.
So I think in my experience with choosing classes and kind of formulating how my days are going to work, I've had a pretty positive experience. I last semester, don't know why, but I chose to have an 8 a.m., which is personally not my cup of tea. And this semester, I there is a part of the academic planner section that allows you to specifically choose classes that fall within a time period that you know you can't take class because you have work, or maybe you just don't want to get up that early. So I specifically set it up that it would not give me class until after 9 a.m. And now this semester, I only have classes starting at 9:30 and afterwards, which actually leaves me time to give tours in the morning, which is great as well. I definitely think as long as when those times come up to pick your classes, you have already checked, the course catalog, the professors that you think you would prefer over another, what your degree requirements are. It's definitely accessible to be able to choose the schedule that fits for you. All of those resources are accessible to you once you have Cal Central after you've committed to be a Berkeley student. All in the academic section, there's the schedule planner, course catalog. Like you can shop for classes and put them in a shopping cart before you commit to them. And it'll show you the different times that there are discussion sections, who the professors are, what requirements you need to graduate versus your degree in specific. So as long as you use your resources to your best of your ability, it's definitely accessible to make sure that your schedule fits the way you want. Some majors will be harder to attain classes than others, but I definitely suggest working with the advisor that's within your college to help you out in picking classes at the right time, just to make sure that you're not kind of setting yourself up to not necessarily get a class that will be more popular this semester versus another. I know my advisor in LNS has definitely helped me out with that and also helped me pick classes to take over the summer while I'm working. So definitely use your resources and your schedule will be as easy as you want it to be.
I ditto everything Essie said. That was like literally perfect. It's really like nice to have like that flexibility of like choosing the different classes and seeing what you really want to choose. Like that was me, especially someone who was like figuring out during their first 2 years what I really wanted to do. So having that flexibility was really nice and being able to like take those wide variety of classes. I also made the same mistake. I not mistake, but it wasn't my cup of tea of having an 8 a.m. my first semester here. And trust me, those 8 a.m.s are really hard. So, you know, if you can skip them, skip them. But if you cannot skip them, that's also completely okay. You can always get a lot of flexibility throughout your next semesters too.
Amazing. I agree with everything as well. And then for one last question, just due to time, I really like this one that just came in, is after being accepted, what was the reason that you chose UC Berkeley? And like just in like one sentence, like a short little summary of why, what about Berkeley spoke out to you?
I can go first. I actually did not want to go to school in California, so I applied to UC Berkeley, but was not really considering it at all. And then as acceptances came out, I wasn't necessarily getting to into a lot of the schools that I had my sights on, so I did not think I was going to get into Berkeley at all. I completely forgot it was coming out on the day that it came out, and I was actually completing a financial aid appeal letter for a school in New York when my friend told me to open it. And I realized immediately after committing to Berkeley, because I committed the day that I got in, that it actually had everything that I was looking for, but especially in how much it emphasizes students to kind of be change makers, which I know is like kind of corny that it's like the word that we use in specific, but I've always been passionate about social justice and being able to use my voice to kind of make a difference in the world for not just myself, but other people, especially those who look like me. And Berkeley has such a strong reputation of encouraging students to use their voice to make whatever changes in the world that they see fit. And I really wanted to go somewhere that would not only give me a good academic foundation for my future, but also encourage me to use those tools and excitements about the world around me to benefit not only myself, but those around me. And I really value that about Berkeley. And it's only been more a part of my life since I've been here.
That was so beautiful, Essie. Oh my God. I'm like, how do I follow that up? But I really want to say also, like, I think in just one sentence, like I didn't think I was gonna go to college, and Berkeley showed me that I could be a college student, and it's because I came from an environment where, you're hired like, a lot of my friends didn't end up going to college. When I told people I wanted to go to college, I was kinda looked at as, like, really weird because it was like, "Oh, like, why do you wanna go to school?" Kind of, and I applied to UC Berkeley despite being told, like, I wouldn't get in, and I got in, and I just decided, "You know what? I'm gonna go for it." And I committed to Cal, and I realize now a lot of the same things that Essie mentioned was a lot of the change maker aspect. What's the change that you want to be in the community? Maybe the change that you never saw, like growing up in your own life. And Berkeley teaches you how to do that. And so for me, that was now being able to go into education, hopefully become like the school personnel that I never really had growing up that encourages students to be able to see their fullest potential. So yeah, I would definitely say like Berkeley definitely helped me realize my own potential and within my own education too.
It's always so fun to hear those Berkeley stories and hear why everyone chose, so thank you both. We will get the slides back up on the screen and run through some final logistics before we say goodbye. Perfect. Oop, 1 second. Um, Ethan, I'm not sure if we can see them right now. Perfect. We'll just go back a few slides really quickly. Cool. So, thank you everyone for coming to today's virtual campus visit. For some ending logistics, if you would like to have a virtual campus tour where you kind of can go along the campus at your own pace and have a little tour guide around you and see photos of each spot, you can go to our UVisit, which is uvisit.com/Berkeley. You could also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Visit UC Berkeley to see more of our offerings, as well as see more about campus ambassadors. If there were any questions that we were not able to get to today on today's virtual campus visit, you can email tour@berkeley.edu and a student ambassador will answer your question. And then you can also check out the Bear Talk blog, which is beartalk.berkeley.edu. And that is our campus ambassador run blog where you can see campus ambassadors who post about their blogs and experiences as a Berkeley student. So me as a Bear Talk blog writer, I wrote a few articles on my study abroad experience. And then we also have a few other recorded virtual visits available on our YouTube channel, which is at Visit UC Berkeley. So if you'd like to see the virtual visit again, but with some different guides and to give different perspective, maybe hear some different questions in the Q&A feature, you can check that out on our YouTube. For those interested in admissions, the QR code on the left will take you to the admissions presentation registration, or you can go to admissions.berkeley.edu/visit, and that's to hear all about admissions and have their virtual info session. And then on the right side is our in-person campus tours registration link. So you can go to visit.berkeley.edu to sign up for an in-person campus tour whenever that fits best into your schedule. As a little note, our tour calendar generally goes up 3 months in advance, so it's best to plan as early as possible with that. And with that, we want to say thank you so much for coming to today's virtual campus visit. We have really enjoyed spending this hour with you all. And before we log off, our cheer as a school is Go Bears. So I'm going to invite Ethan and Essie to unmute themselves for a Go Bears, and we will sign off and say goodbye to everyone. Okay, so on 3. 1, 2, 3, Go Bears!
Go
Go
Bears!
Bears!
Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.